All right, welcome back everyone for another deep dive, and this time we're tackling adaptability in the workplace.
Yes, exciting stuff.
Yeah, and this one was actually specifically requested by you, our listeners, so huge thanks for keeping those requests coming.
Always great to hear what's top of mind for you all.
Exactly. So it seems like a lot of you are really curious about how adaptability affects both hiring and performance, especially in today's, well, let's face it, constantly changing job market.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, things are moving so quickly these days.
For sure. So to guide us through this deep dive, we'll be looking at excerpts from a recent article called 10 plus proven adaptability interview questions plus answers.
Catchy title.
Right. And it was published just last month on workable.com, which is a great resource for all things HR.
Oh, yeah, I've used that site before. Lots of good stuff on there.
Totally. So it's fascinating to me how much emphasis is placed on adaptability these days.
Yeah, it wasn't always such a buzzword, but I think it's really become key.
Absolutely. So before we get into the nitty-gritty of like interview questions, I'm curious from your perspective, how would you define adaptability in the context of work?
It's a good question.
And also, why is it suddenly so in demand? Like, why is everyone looking for this?
Right. Well, I think adaptability at its core is the ability to effectively adjust to changing circumstances.
Okay, so being able to roll with the punches.
Yeah, exactly. So whether it's, new information coming in or unexpected project pivots or even those huge industry shakeups that are happening.
Right, those can be pretty massive.
Oh, yeah, they can completely change the game.
Totally. And it seems like being adaptable means you can navigate those changes and still get the job done.
And even thrive in the face of them. It's
Hmm.
not just about surviving, it's about using those changes to your advantage.
I like that. So the reason it's so valuable now, I'm guessing, has to do with the fact that the pace of change in the workplace has just accelerated dramatically.
It really has. I mean, think about it. We've got rapid technological advancements, entire industries transforming, and even global events that just throw everything up in the air.
So many
It's
curveballs.
a wild ride out there.
It is. And it sounds like companies need people who can not only survive these shifts, but actually thrive in them.
Exactly. And that's what makes adaptable employees so valuable because they can help a company stay ahead of the curve.
They're like the secret weapon.
Kind of.
Mm.
Yeah. And, the article we're looking at really dives into how companies try to spot this adaptability during the hiring process.
Especially through those targeted interview questions.
Right. Those can be really revealing.
For sure. So it feels like the interview is make or break for a lot of people, right?
It can be a high pressure situation.
It is. And this article is packed with examples of those tricky
Oh, yeah.
questions.
They can get pretty creative with them.
One that really stood out to me was, how do you adjust to changes you have no control over?
Yeah.
And they even give you a scenario like, imagine your teammate just quits unexpectedly.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a tough one.
It is. So what are they really trying to get at with a question like that?
Well, I think it's about showcasing your problem solving skills under pressure.
Yeah.
Can you think on your feet? Can you prioritize tasks effectively? Can you communicate clearly to minimize disruption? It's about demonstrating how you approach those unexpected situations.
So it's not just a simple yes or no answer.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
You got to show them what you're made of.
And there's another one where they ask, if your coworkers had a this is how we do it attitude, how would you convince them to follow a more effective method? It seems like they're looking for people who aren't afraid to challenge the status quo.
Right. But can do it diplomatically.
Exactly. You have to bring the team along with you.
Persuasion is key.
Totally. And what's interesting is that they actually provide sample answers in the article.
Well, that's helpful.
Like for that teammate quitting scenario, they suggest saying something like, I'd first assess the situation, then prioritize urgent tasks, and communicate clearly with everyone involved to ensure a smooth transition.
So it's about being proactive and taking charge.
Right. You have to show them that you're not going to just freeze up.
You're ready to handle whatever comes your way.
It's like a mini roadmap for handling a crisis.
Exactly. Show them you have a plan.
But okay, let's say you nail the interview. You answer all the adaptability questions perfectly.
Fingers crossed.
Are there other, maybe less obvious signs companies look for?
Oh, for sure. The interview is just one piece of the puzzle.
So what else are they looking at?
Well, they're also trying to find evidence of adaptability throughout your career history,
Yeah.
in your resume, your cover letter.
It should be woven into your story.
Exactly. Make it part of your brand.
So what would that evidence look like? Give me a concrete example.
Think about times when you took on challenges outside of your comfort zone.
Okay, like what?
Did you ever volunteer for a project that forced you to learn new skills? Or did you step up to lead when a team was struggling? Those are the types of experiences that really showcase your willingness to grow and adapt.
So it's not just about saying you're adaptable, it's about showing it.
Actions speak louder than words.
They do, and they'll be looking at how you navigated major career changes or industry shifts.
Yeah, those can be huge turning points.
So did you embrace those transitions? Did you see them as opportunities to learn and grow?
That's a big one because it shows how you handle those major life changes.
Now, this article also had a section on red flags, which I thought was really insightful.
Oh yeah, that's important to be aware of.
It's like a reverse cheat sheet, what not to do.
Things that scream, I'm not adaptable.
Exactly, and one of the most obvious ones is being closed-minded and resisting new ideas.
Yeah, if you're constantly saying, but we've always done it this way, that's not a good look.
Especially in today's fast-paced world.
You got to be open to new approaches.
Absolutely. And they also mention a fear of the unknown, a hesitation to take risks.
Makes sense.
Mm.
Companies want people who are excited by challenges, not scared of them.
Right. Being able to embrace calculated risks is key.
For sure. And naturally, being a bad team player is another red flag.
Fact.
Yeah, collaboration is so important.
Especially in adaptable organizations.
If you have an inflexible working style or you can't communicate clearly, that's going to raise some concerns.
Definitely. They also talk about the importance of staying calm under pressure and avoiding negativity.
Nobody wants to work with a constant complainer.
It's all about having a positive and proactive attitude towards change.
Do you see it as a threat or an opportunity? That's the question.
That's a great point. And we've talked a lot about how companies assess adaptability during hiring, but I think it's equally important to explore how developing this trait can benefit you, the listener, beyond just landing the job.
Totally. It's about more than just checking a box on a job application.
It's a skill that can help you throughout your entire career.
And even in your personal life.
So let's dive into that in part 2. We'll explore how becoming more adaptable can help you thrive in your career no matter what challenges come your way.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to it.
See you there. Welcome back to our deep dive all about adaptability.
Yeah, part 2.
So in part 1, we really dug into how companies are trying to spot this, this essential trait during the hiring process.
Trying to find those adaptable candidates.
Right, but now I think it's time to shift our focus to you, the listener.
Absolutely.
Because developing adaptability isn't just about getting hired, right? It's about thriving in your career in the long run.
It's about having that staying power.
Exactly. So beyond just landing the job, how does becoming more adaptable actually help someone navigate this crazy modern workplace and, just really excel in their career?
Well, one of the biggest benefits, I think, is increased resilience.
Resilience, okay.
Yeah, I mean, the workplace can be so unpredictable, right? Full of unexpected challenges and, sudden shifts in priorities.
How many curveballs.
Right. But adaptable individuals are better equipped to handle those bumps in the road without, getting completely derailed.
So it's like having a built-in shock absorber for your career.
Uh-huh. I like that analogy. That's about bouncing back from setbacks, maintaining a positive attitude, and finding solutions even when things get tough.
So it's not just about surviving, it's about thriving.
Exactly. And, this resilience not only helps you cope with stress, but it also prevents burnout, which is huge these days.
Burnout is a real problem.
It is, and it can be so debilitating.
Totally. And another critical aspect, I think, is the ability to continuously learn and adapt to new technologies, new processes, even entire industries. I mean, think about how quickly jobs are evolving.
Oh my gosh, it's mind-boggling.
It's like the skills that are in demand today might be totally obsolete tomorrow.
It happens all the time.
It does. So how do you even keep up?
Well, that's where adaptability comes in.
Yeah.
Adaptable people are curious, they're eager to learn new things, and they embrace challenges as opportunities to grow.
They see change as a good thing.
Exactly. They see it as a chance to expand their skill set and stay relevant in a job market that's constantly changing.
So it's about being a lifelong learner.
Always evolving.
And I think this mindset shift can have a big impact on your problem-solving and decision-making abilities, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Adaptable people are more likely to approach problems with a flexible mindset, right?
Yeah, they can consider different perspectives, generate creative solutions, and adapt their approach based on new information.
They're not afraid to pivot.
Exactly. They're not limited by rigid thinking.
And I'm guessing this flexible thinking is really valuable when you're facing those really complex problems or you have to make decisions under pressure.
Oh, it's essential. You need to be able to think on your feet and adapt to the situation.
Now, we can't talk about adaptability in the workplace without mentioning teamwork,
Of course, teamwork makes the dream work.
right? Haha, exactly. But seriously, adaptability is crucial for effective collaboration.
100%.
It allows you to work well with people who have different working styles, different communication preferences, even different cultural backgrounds.
Especially in today's globalized work environment.
You have to be able to bridge those gaps.
And adaptable team members are more likely to be understanding, empathetic, and willing to compromise.
They're the team players.
They can adjust their communication style to fit the situation, navigate conflicts constructively, and contribute to a positive and productive team dynamic.
They're like the glue that holds everything together.
Yeah, I like that.
Now, in part one, we left you with a bit of a cliffhanger.
Oh, right.
We asked you to think about one concrete step you could take this week to become more adaptable in your own work or your career.
And we'd love to hear your ideas, so feel free to share them with us on social media.
We're always listening.
But before we move on to those actionable strategies in part 3,
Okay?
I want to highlight something we touched on earlier, communication.
Ah, yes, communication. That's key.
I mean, it's essential in every aspect of work,
Yeah.
but it becomes even more critical when you're navigating change and uncertainty.
When things are in flux.
Exactly. So think about it when there's like a sudden shift in project deadlines or a reorganization within your team, or even like a company-wide restructuring, what prevents chaos and keeps everyone on the same page.
Clear and open communication.
Yeah.
Exactly. Being able to communicate your needs, your concerns, your ideas effectively is so crucial for adapting to any change.
And it's not just about talking, right? It's about listening too.
It's a two-way street.
Active listening, empathy, the ability to ask clarifying questions, all of that is part of effective communication.
Especially in a dynamic work environment.
So it's about being a communication ninja.
I love that. Assertive when you need to be, but also receptive to what others are saying.
Exactly. So, we've covered a lot of ground in part 2.
We have.
We've explored how adaptability can benefit your career in terms of resilience, continuous learning, problem solving, and teamwork.
And we've talked about how important communication is for navigating all those inevitable changes that come with, just working in the modern world.
But before we jump into those specific strategies you can use to boost your own adaptability,
Which we'll get to in part 3.
we want to leave you with one final thought to ponder as we head into that last part.
All right, hit us with it.
So we focused on the individual and team level so far.
But how does adaptability impact the success of organizations and even societies as a whole?
Ooh, now we're getting philosophical.
I know, right? It's a big question.
It is a big question, and it's a fascinating one.
It is. So we'll delve into those bigger picture implications when we return for the final part of our deep dive.
Looking forward to it.
See you soon. All right, welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into adaptability.
It's been quite a journey.
It has. We've covered so much ground.
Yeah, from hiring to performance to, personal growth.
And now, as promised, we're going to zoom out a little bit, look at the bigger picture.
Yeah, getting a bit more macro.
Exactly. So let's start with teams. What happens when you have a group of people who are all committed to being adaptable?
Well, imagine a team where everyone is open to new ideas, willing to experiment, and they embrace challenges as opportunities to learn and grow.
Yeah, they're not afraid to kind of shake things up a bit.
Exactly. And because they're comfortable with change, they can respond so quickly to new information.
Right. They can pivot when they need to.
Exactly. Adjust their strategies and ultimately achieve this level of agility that you just wouldn't see in a team that's resistant to change.
It's like they have this collective superpower.
Right. And that team dynamic can then, scale up to the organizational level.
So think about companies that are known for their adaptability.
Yeah. The ones that are always ahead of the curve.
They're not just surviving change, they're thriving in it.
They're leading the way, often because they've cultivated this culture of adaptability throughout the entire organization.
And these companies, they encourage experimentation, right? They're willing to take those calculated risks.
And they see failure not as a dead end, but as a learning opportunity.
It's all about iterating and improving.
Exactly. Because they're not afraid to fail, they're more likely to make those breakthroughs, to discover those really innovative ideas.
It's like they're constantly pushing the boundaries.
Yeah, it's about creating an environment where people feel empowered to try new things, to challenge existing processes, and to always be looking for ways to improve.
It's like a constant evolution.
And when you have an entire organization embracing that mindset, that's when you see those amazing success stories.
It's like magic happens.
Kinda.
So we've talked about teams, we've talked about organizations now. Let's take this even further.
Okay, where are we going?
Let's think about adaptability on a societal level.
Whoa, now that's the big jump.
I know, right? But it's fascinating to think about.
It is. I mean,
Yeah.
throughout history, societies that have been able to adapt to new technologies, changing demographics, economic shifts, even global crises, those are the societies that have not only survived, but flourished.
So it's about having that flexibility to adjust to new realities, to embrace new ways of thinking, and to really find solutions to those complex problems that inevitably arise.
Exactly. And think about how much the world has changed in just the past few decades.
It's mind-blowing.
We've seen the rise of the internet, the globalization of economies, unprecedented technological
It's
advancements,
a whole new world.
and all of that has required societies to adapt in some pretty profound ways.
So the societies that have been able to kind of roll with those punches, figure out how to harness the power of new technologies, adapt their systems accordingly, those are the ones that have generally seen the most progress.
I think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah, so adaptability on a societal level, it's essential for fostering innovation,
Yeah.
economic growth, social progress, ultimately for creating a more resilient and equitable future.
It's about building a better world for everyone.
It is, and it's inspiring to think about.
It is.
So we started this deep dive by focusing on adaptability as a valuable skill for individuals in the workplace.
Right. Remember those interview questions.
Haha, yeah. But it's clear that it plays a much larger role than that.
It's a driving force behind the success of teams, organizations, and even entire societies.
It's bigger than all of us.
And it's something we can all cultivate.
Exactly. Now, before we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you with one final thought.
All right, hit me with it.
So we've talked about adaptability in your work, your career, even in society as a whole. But what about adaptability in your personal life?
Interesting.
How do you adapt to those unexpected challenges, those personal setbacks, or even just the everyday ups and downs that life throws our way?
It's about how you handle those curveballs.
Exactly. What strategies do you use to stay resilient, to keep learning and growing, even when things don't go according to plan?
That's a great question for everyone to ponder.
It is, because ultimately adaptability is a skill that can benefit every aspect of your life.
I couldn't agree more.
And that's it for this deep dive into adaptability. We hope you found it insightful and maybe even inspiring.
We had a lot of fun with this one.
We did. And remember, adaptability is a journey, not a destination.
So keep experimenting, keep learning, and keep pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone.
And if you ever need a little help navigating that journey, you know where to find us.
The Deep Dive is always here to help you explore the vast sea of information and emerge with those valuable nuggets of knowledge. Until next time, stay curious.
Bye, everyone.